Aloha, Rich Halverson here. This is ITS227, and this is the introductory video for fall semester 2024. And so let me just go over the course and how it's going to work. Let me share my screen first. All right, so we're still in La Lima. So go there and you should find the course up at the top. If you don't, click on the little 9 keypad icon up here and find the course here. If you don't find the course there, then email me. When you click on overview, you should see the syllabus, and there'll be a playlist. And as soon as I'm done with this video, that'll be the first video in the playlist here. We can meet via Zoom. I have an office. I'm going to be teaching I'll be there Tuesday afternoons to teach another course, and so you can meet then if you want, or just email me, or you can text me. This is my cell phone, and this is the fastest way to get a hold of me by texting. Make sure you tell me who you are the first time you text me. This is a link to the textbook. I'll get to that later. This is also a link to the textbook. This is what the textbook looks like. You have to buy the textbook because you have to do your work in the textbook, and everything in the textbook. Most of your grade comes from that. And what's nice about the textbook is that it's auto graded, which means I can be a little bit more lenient on assignment deadlines because it's auto graded. So anyway, I'll get to that in a moment. So these are the prerequisites. Presumably, if you're watching this, or if you're registered for the course, you've taken care of those. So I've broken it down into each week, and these are chapters in the textbook. I'll get to that in a moment. In the textbook, there's these participation activities, which you just click through, and you just click through them, and they're animations and so on, little quizzes, and you get all the points for clicking through them. It's basically so you're exposed to the material that you need to do the challenge activities, which are kind of like little quizzes. Again, they're graded. They're auto graded, and you could submit as many times as you want to get all the points. There's these lab activities, which are actually programs. You write programs, and again, you can submit as many times as you want until you get all the points. The first week of class, first and second week of class, there's this weekly participation, just this participation verification that you need to do. That's going to be under the weekly engagement section, but I'm not going to ask you to do any weekly engagement beyond that. So this lists the chapters and how many points there are for each activity. At the end here, these labs pretty much end after chapter 9, which is about beginning of November. So then after that, there are these PHP assignments. We're going to learn PHP, and these will be done on a server that'll be assigned to you. And then the last assignment is this WordPress assignment, and where you're going to develop a WordPress site. This is the points breakdown. The participation activities, that's 25%. The challenge activities are 20. These lab activities are 30 total. There's 3 PHP assignments, 5 percentage points apiece, and then this WordPress integration project, which we'll see what that is. So here's the zyBooks textbook. If you click on that, the first time you click on it, you'll be asked to pay for it. And so over here on this side, I don't know what it looked like this or something, but you'll have access to the first chapter, but you have to pay $89. Okay. And then after you do that, you'll see all the chapters, and if you click on my activity, you can see how far you're coming along here. This is how far you've come along in participation activities, challenge activities, and then the labs. And you don't have to do any of the optional parts. The optional parts are just there because they're like a little bit, they go a little bit beyond what some of the chapters up here do, and you might be interested in some of this stuff down here. But so if we open up a chapter and let's start with the first one, we see that there's, you can watch this, a participation activity is, let's say it's this one. Basically, is a start button. You click start, and it goes through stuff. And this is about FTP, and you click through this, and you read this, you follow along, and you click again. And this is the third step, and you see how all this links up and how HTTP works and so on. And once you're done, you get this check mark up here, and you get the points. Okay, so that's participation activities. There are these challenge activities, which the blue ones, and they are usually they look something like, these are all participation. You just click through them, you read it, you learn stuff. Okay, here's a challenge activity, and so let's do one of them. You click start, and after you learn about IPv4 version 4, you should be able to answer this. Which ones are valid? Okay, this one's 138, 136, 65. I think that's valid. This number, first number, has to be between 0 and 255, and there has to be 4 of them, 3 dots in the middle. This is not valid because there's only three of them. See, there's only 3 sets of numbers. There's got to be 4. This is not valid because this is bigger. This number is bigger than 256. That's 364. 256, 255. That's the biggest it can be. And this is not. It's hexadecimal, but it's got too many hexadecimal digits for this to be valid. So let's see if this is correct. Yes, it is. Very good. All right, so then you go on to the next one and so on. So that's a challenge activity. So I see it's a little bit harder, but again, if you get it wrong, it tells you what you got wrong, and you submit it again, and then until you get it. Eventually, it'll just tell you the answer, and you put that in. All right, so that's those are challenges, and then this is a lab. This sort of explains a lab. This lab just explains the lab, how labs work. And so here you start, there's a web server up there. This is part of the book. You might modify some HTML, you might add an image, blah, 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 and submit and everything. So here, for example, if we run this, we run right now, it'll come down here and it'll say, oh, training lab. And so like if I were to modify this and say Richard's training lab. Oh, look at that. It just changes it on the fly. There. Very cool. All right, so that's how the lab works. And then when you're all done, you submit for grading, and it'll tell you if you got it correct. There's instructions up here. It tells you if you got it correct. If you didn't get it correct, you can fix it and then submit it again. Do that as many times as you want until you get all the points. All right, so that's pretty much the textbook. The sections are, this is just an introduction. We're going to learn HTML. We're going to learn style sheets, CSS, and we're going to learn JavaScript. Okay, so here, the second and the third chapter is all about HTML, and you become an HTML expert. And then this is style sheets, and so you learn how to format things. It's that's separate from the HTML code and so on. And then JavaScript is writing programs, writing code, and this is a new language. It's like Python's a language. C# is a language. Java is a language. JavaScript is a language. And so there's loops, conditionals. There's the basic stuff that's in all languages, and there's the syntax is just a little bit different in JavaScript, and we'll learn about that. Yeah, some of the terminology, maps and stuff is different, arrays, so on. And then we're going to go specifically to JavaScript working in the browser. You see JavaScript, this is JavaScript, the language up here, and JavaScript is mostly in the browser, but also Node.js, that's server-side JavaScript. So, JavaScript language is used in more than just the browsers, but that's what this is up here. And we learn how this is learn this is uh this lab and this lab um uh are show how you learn how to send little HTTP send requests to a server that could have a database on it. And the that's a real powerful thing to be able to do, because then your JavaScript page can just be dynamic and be sending these little requests to the server, like you know searches and so on. That's what these two things are. And so this is just using plain JavaScript using this XML HTTP request, Ajax. You've heard of Ajax. And then there's the jQuery way. This is the jQuery way. And so these to-do lists are sort of standalone. The labs right before them are actually web APIs that go off and access a server, both these access server. And what I have you do in the assignments is towards the very end of the semester, you're going to make APIs that where you will modify, where you choose one of them and you'll modify the to-do list so it actually accesses the API instead of storing everything in the browser. So anyway, so that means you can log into any, you can log in, you can go to any browser, log into to your web server, you use your web APIs and you can access your to-do list, if you'd ever want to do that. So here, this is where we learn the PHP to do that in chapter 10 and advanced PHP. And this is as far as we need to go. The third API here is a to-do list API using MySQL or using SQL. And with all these, I give you some starter code and then you got to modify it. So that's what these are. And so, after you've done, okay, so, yeah, so this is as far as you go. I guess, no, actually, maybe here. And you should finish that up in, that's like, around here. And I guess here. But anyway, that's like around Thanksgiving. And then you have time to do these assignments. They sound difficult, but they're actually quite easy because I give you a lot of code to start with, and once you understand the code, you just take it and you modify it some more, and then you're able to come up with the answer. There are these auto grade. There's an auto grader, like, okay, so here we go. This is an auto grader. This is the first assignment. Shows you how to log into your server. So, for example, my server, since my email address is richardh@hawaii.edu, so I have a server, richardh.its227.com, which is this course. So I can go to that, copy. I can go to that address. And here's my server. And this first assignment is you're supposed to create a a directory named A1, and inside A1, you're supposed to create this program called test PHP, and you're supposed to copy this code in. That's all you gotta do, and save it. And then I copy the code in, and then you run it, and then that's it. And then you can see you can just run it by running it like this, test PHP, and this is the output. Or you can say test PHP question mark name equals whatever, and then it'll say hello, your name instead of that. So I go to A1 and I go to here, click on that. That's test PHP. It looks like that. I can go question mark, name equals Kamala. And it says, hello, hello world, hello Kamala. So because of that. Okay, so that's all you have to do for the first assignment. And what you do is you make sure you use this grader here, this auto grader, this grading assistant, I call it. And you type in your username, which is for me, my username is RICHA, because that's the first 5 characters of my username here. And then and then 227. Okay, so that's my username. And so yours is whatever 227. If your username has less than 5 characters, it's just, your username and then followed by 227. So I can go here. Where do I go? Oh, I go here and I go, oops. Oh, I just paste it. And then my password, it says how you figure out what your password is. And then, of course, you can always go in and change it. And so that mine is and then I can click on PHP test, and sure enough, it tests it and gives me a score. And then that score is recorded. Okay, and what I didn't show you yet is to actually get to your server, you go to your URL /cpanel, enter, and then you log in. And you log in with this RICHA227, which is mine. You use yours, which is, whatever it is, 227, and then your password is, this is your first letter of your last name capitalized, and this is the first letter of your first name lowercase, and then your 8-digit UHID, and then %, hashtag, exclamation point. Those 3 characters at the end. That's your password. Then after you log in, you can you want to, you can go in and I think you can change your password someplace. Anyway, you can do a bunch of stuff. Here, password, change the password. But anyway, we'll be in here, we'll be using the file manager. And inside public HTML, you're going to have your assignment folders, and you're going to have stuff in there, whatever. So there's my test PHP. And then I click on this, and I can, this is how I create it to begin with. I click on File, and I name it. And once it's there, I can click on this, and up here, click on Edit, and Edit. And so this is where I edit my file. See, or this is where I would paste in that code, click Save Changes, and then it would be there to run. So anyway, so it's that simple. So that's assignment 1, and you use this auto grader for the second API assignment, the third API assignment, and then the last one is you create a WordPress. You learn WordPress, and You can start now with the WordPress stuff, but in the very end, I'm going to want you to take one of your to-do lists that and have it interface to your API and integrate that into someplace on your WordPress website. It's not as hard as it sounds. And by the way, I'm going to make videos for all this stuff to get you going. And you don't, you can, there's lots of different ways to do it. There's a easy way and a, the way that most integrates. There's different levels of where you can integrate, whatever. But the idea is that you write some code, some JavaScript that interfaces to your API, and that's embedded in someplace on your WordPress website. So that's the last assignment, but or that's the last one that's due. See, that assignment is here. These due dates. This is okay. So the WordPress assignment, I have to grade that manually. I got to go in there and I got to look at it and check it out. And so that's manual. So I need time to do that. All the rest of the stuff is auto graded. So the due dates for the auto graded stuff, which is everything else but that WordPress assignment, are recommended due dates. The actual due date for sure is whatever that day is. That's just, whatever. It was the 22nd of December, which is, let's see, what's the 22nd of December? I think it's Sunday. It's the Sunday after finals. Okay. And so that Monday, I run the final grades and I just go to all the two auto graded places of Zybooks and my auto grader that's connected to this thing. And I download those scores. But in the meantime, I've had the last week to go in and check out your WordPress sites. So that's why all these other things are due the way they are. And that's why I pushed this web accessibility. You should learn about that. That's important. I'm not gonna make you or have an assignment where you actually have to follow some rules in there, but you need to learn about it. So I put that one last, and there's some challenge activities. So those are also. This is the Monday. I think this is like the Monday after, or this Sunday before. This is the Sunday before this Sunday. So this is the Sunday just before finals week. All right. And by the way, there are a couple of you, 4 of you, actually bought the textbook like yesterday or something, and I moved around the chapters. Okay, so this one used to be chapter 10, and this one was chapter 11. It was chapter 12. Well, I moved that one up to here. So anyway, so go back and look. If you've already made notes or whatever, go back and look, and you see that I rearranged that. All right, so that's that. You can look at the Gradebook Classic. You can see the percentages, and so every week or so I go and I upload these scores from Zybooks, and then so there's participation, there's challenges, and then there's some lab activities that are required. They're important labs, I think, in every chapter or in almost every chapter. Important labs that I want you to do. I give you a break. You can drop the worst one, and then there's a bunch of other labs. There's 11 other labs in there that I think are good labs, and you only have to do 5 of them. Okay, so find 5 of them that you'll do, and then the rest of them you don't have to do. And then this is where the PHP assignments come in, and then the WordPress assignment. So the WordPress assignment is 10% of your grade. The 3 PHP assignments is 15% of your grade. The best 5 of these labs is 10%. The best 10 of the required ones is 20%. challenge, all the challenge activities is 20% and all the participation is 25. All right, I think that's it. So I will make more videos periodically. If you have any questions, texting me or emailing me is the best way. And hope this helps. Thanks for watching.